So now we're ready to take a look at lighting, adding some materials and rendering. So yeah, this is a new part in Houdini. So it used to be that you would set up your cameras and lights in the OBJ area, and within well, not in SOPs, no, in the OBJ area, and then you would head to the out context where you would use Mantra to render, and you'd be viewing your render here. And you can still do that, and in some cases you will still want to do that because the renderer that we're going to use, Karma, is still in beta, and you know, it doesn't have all of the functionality of Mantra yet, but it's something that, you know, we should explore for sure. So I'm going to go back into my OBJ context. One thing we could do is change the layout, so we can just go into the stage context, which is where we set up everything for rendering. Another option, well, it's not another option, but another way of getting there is to just come up here to the these options here, which kind of changes the layout of your Houdini workspace, and we can change this to Solaris. So Solaris is this stage context, which is where we build a USD file. So that's a universal scene description, I think it is. So the idea of that is that you can have one file containing information for light, rendering settings, materials, geometry, and the idea down the line is that this will be able to be shared between different software packages easily. So I've just deleted those two windows. I don't need them. I just need this scene graph here. And we've got this parameter windows up here again. Don't need that. Get rid of those. Okay, just press P again. It says no operator selected. We've got nothing here. So it's kind of strange because we kind of lost everything now from our viewports. It's disappeared. So that's because we need to build or bring in our geometry again. So what I'm going to do is press Tab and go to SOP import. Okay, and this will bring in my geometry from the SOP context. Okay, surface operator context. So I need to go and look that up. And whenever doing this, remember we dropped those nulls and we called them out. This is why it's useful. We press this and this shows me my context. So there's my OBJ context. And in that context, I've got my ball and I've got my ground. So let's start with the ground. Go to out. Okay, see that in capital letters, this is at the top, and I know this is the last node. These are not in order of, you know, how we have them in the scene. They're just in alphabetical order, it looks like. Okay, so I bet if you put capitals, that's at the top, and then I press out, and now if I zoom out, I have my ground. Okay, so that's good. We want to get the balls as well. Before we do that, actually, there's something I forgot to do. If we go back here into the ball again, okay, we need to set up, because I want different materials on the top and bottom, we need to set some groups up really quick. So just drop a group here and another one here. So this side will be, if I press spacebar and F so I can see it, so I know that I want this to be metal, so I'll just call this metal. Oop, I don't want that in capitals. It doesn't matter really, but just a personal preference. And then this side will be a plastic material. It just makes assigning it easier later on. So that will filter through all the way here. And we can see we've got that metal and plastic. These groups we don't need. We can delete them. It's a good idea to delete attributes and groups that you don't need. So we can do a group delete. Sorry, after the unpack actually. And then fine, so we can delete all of these holes we don't need, and point fillet polys as well. And then any attributes, we don't have any, we just got the position, so that's fine. We might want the velocity attribute from here for motion blur. So that's been lost because it's packed here, and if we go here and go forward a few frames, spacebar and F, and then you can see we got the velocity attribute, but as soon as I unpack that, I lose that attribute. It's kind of at a different level, if you understand. But we can transfer the attribute across. We'll take the velocity and the angular velocity, the W, which refers to the spin. You might want to use that for, as I said, for motion blur. I don't think we will in our case, but you might want to. So go back into the stage context. Okay, and we've still got our ground there. I'm going to alt click and drag on this. That will just create a copy of it, and then just to, instead of going to look for another one, and then go into my ball and go into out there. So we got the balls there. However, if we look at the information, we don't have, oh, before we do that, anything actually, we need to change the name of these. So I'm going to call this ball, and you'll see a change here. We got the ball there, and we got this, the ground. Okay, and then if we merge them together, view them both here, you can see we got the ball and the ground, and inside each one you've got the mesh. Now for my ball, we need those groups, and if we go into the node and then go into import data and then subset groups, and then go and find that metal and plastic, that should bring in metal and plastic. I've got those groups now, so I can assign the materials to them. So that's great. Let's drop a light. By the way, you can do these kind of like that as well if you want, but side by side we can transform them. We can do different. Oh, what am I doing? By the way, sorry, in case I didn't mention earlier, to cut these, press Y and you get these scissors and you can cut it, and then you can drag and connect it back up again. So yeah, you can merge them or put them kind of one on top of the other. It doesn't really matter as long as they're connected. I'm going to drop a light. I'm going to start lighting this. Okay, so you can see that drops a point light at the bottom, but I don't want to use a point light. I want to use a, not a sphere. Oh, sorry, I've got the wrong light. We want a dome light. Dome light. Okay, and you can see what that does is light. It's like a giant, it doesn't show us, but it's almost like a giant sphere that's infinitely larger than your scene and shines light in all directions, you know, from the, it's like being on the inside of a giant ball and it's shining light from every point in that ball, which is great, but it's kind of gives you a flat light unless you use a material. So if you come into base properties, texture, come here to this file search button thing. Okay, and then if you come here to Houdini pick HDRI, these are some HDRI images which ship with Houdini. You can also download these, so if you just search for HDR images, then you can use them in here. I'm going to use this Lenong, let's accept on that. Okay, and let's go into a higher quality lighting mode. So you can see that when we go through these, we get more and more information. You get shadows, reflections, and so forth. And now it's looking a bit nicer, and you can see that texture in our background there. So this is our, if I zoom out, you can see the sky. You know, we're going to be getting more light from wherever the sun is. That's going to be helping us to cast some shadows, less light from below, and it will look really cool. Now let's give ourselves a camera as well. I might just brighten this up a bit. 1.5. Great. Maybe let's drop a camera here as well. So one way to do that is to go into the view. I'm going to go forward a few frames. Let's go. Yeah, about there, something like that. No, let's go, I'm going to go to frame 24. It doesn't matter where you go, I'm just using this for framing. Okay, and then control and click on your camera, on the camera up here, and I will drop a camera for you at the position that you specified. Okay, and now we have a camera and we're looking through the camera. You can select it here if you're not, sure that you're looking through it. If you want to change the camera, if you look up here now, and if I press Alt and click and start to move around, you can see I'm not in the camera anymore. If I zoom out, we can see the camera there. But if we go back into my camera, I'm looking through the camera now, and if I click this lock, you can see it says lock camera. Then I can move around, and I'm actually moving the camera now. I'm in the camera and I'm moving it with me when I go. So this is good for that, but it can be annoying if you get a nice angle and then forget to turn that off, which I always do. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit there, get a nice angle, and then just click on this lock. And then next we'll take a look at adding some materials and rendering this out.